Good morning.
Good morning, Abhishek.
Good morning, Abhishek.
Good morning. Okay, so did you guys got a chance to complete the introduction and where we discussed in L2?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going through Abhishek actually.
Okay. And Venu? And
Yeah, Abhishek, I was also going to the introduction part.
okay, Krishna, did you got a chance to watch yesterday's recording or something? Did was it shared with you?
No. Today I will watch it.
Sure. All right. So yesterday, maybe Ramakrishna, you can just try to correlate a little here, and there won't be much relation between yesterday's topic and today's topic. So you don't need to worry much in case even if you have missed yesterday's session. Okay. So that is one thing. To start off with, where we left our discussion yesterday, and that was normally flat list will be there in a data hub model instead of the hierarchy list. Do you guys, give a thought upon this? I mean, why this could be one of the reason?
Because we don't use any formulas or anything. So just to fetch the data.
It is like similar to system modules what we create Abhishek as a flat list for importing the data.
So with Akil, I understood like he said some formula shouldn't we don't use much formula. Karthik, what did you say? I just didn't get that.
Yeah, actually we use like a system module Abhishek because it doesn't have much dimensions. For suppose in the system module we use either one of the dimension, right? It does not have any child relationship. For importing and exporting, it may be good for the data hub creations for the flat list.
Nice. I mean, did you search this somewhere or you are just coming with an instinct?
Just instant actually, because I felt like
Okay, makes sense. Akhil, can you just come again with what you gave the reason?
No, I was thinking since hierarchy leaves are usually used, to organize or when you are creating the modules and you're trying to fetch it and you need to use some of this formula. But here, this is kind of mostly a repository wherein you're just storing, but other modules will actually use this data they fetch. They will use the formulas like lookup and all those things. Here, this is just to save the data flat list. Better.
Okay, makes sense. Got it. Got your point. Thanks, Akhil. Venu, do you have any points or views over here?
Yeah, no, Abhishek, I don't have.
Okay, no worries. So, I mean, Ramakrishna will not have an idea. Oh, Ram, okay, you don't know about data. Okay, that's fine. So you guys are correct. Okay, to some extent. Okay, Karthik and Akhil. I mean, that's a wonderful thought which you guys have put in. Much appreciated from my end. So these are a few of the reasons as well. I'll just refine it a little, but you guys are on the track in the terms of understanding why hierarchies are not common in a data hub. Instead, we will mostly have a flat lists out here. So to start off with the discussion, if I just tell you mostly, if you think of where flat list can be possibly used, flat lists like the L1 journey. You guys can hear me clearly, right? Is there any issues?
No,
Is it
it's
No, no,
fine.
fine
no.
or something? It's fine, right? Okay. So we did understood the fact that flat lists are mostly used for your transactional data, right? In the other session as well. Similarly, I mean, there could be a lot of indicators or KPIs if you just want to store that could be contained under a flat list. There could be some sort of metadata, master data stored under a flat list, and there could be other associated file which could be used for categorizing or grouping some other data sets. So these are mostly the places where your flat list is used. And if you think of a hierarchy list, the idea and the concept behind using a hierarchy list was always that your hierarchy list your hierarchy list will be mostly or is mostly used for the purpose of aggregating the data from lower level to higher level. So what was happening in hierarchy list? Rather, what was the advantage of hierarchy list? Anyone of you remember?
Yeah, as you said, like aggregation from the low level to the top level, like employees to the teams, teams to the organization.
It's organized in a better way. It's fine.
Correct. So there we saw the point that the aggregation from lower level to higher level was possible with the use of hierarchy list. Now, keeping this thing in point and keeping this thing or making this a note, we can very well understand the fact that who will want to see this aggregation or who cares about this aggregated data? For whom
For
does this,
the
sorry?
for the end user.
Exactly, for your business user, end user, correct? Now the point is, just give a thought, will a business or an end user be bothered to see what is in your data hub?
No, they don't use it directly.
No, no.
How about Venu? What do you think?
Yeah, Akshay.
So, end user, since data hub you are building or you are developing it for your storage of data coming from legacy systems, end user is least bothered, or end user even doesn't know that anything like data hub even exists. Okay, I mean, to hell with what data hub is, business user don't need that at all. What matters for the business user is to understand like what is there into the component or the functional area where they are working on. For an example, if there is an inventory person, he would be interested and keen to understand and see the results of how things are at the business side of inventory, not how you are bringing those results or how you are pulling the data or what your integration is, right?
Yes, yes.
So in those terms, if you think, if the end user is not bothered to see anything what is in your data hub, then no way in a world, or there's no need in a world that we even need these hierarchies to be in a data hub. Just combining the 2 points which we discussed now. The first one was the hierarchy list is used for seeing the aggregated view of the data, right? And the other point was that the business users are least bothered to see what is in data hub. So if we combine these 2 points together, you can very well assume and conclude the fact that you don't need to have these hierarchies set into the data hub. Got the point, right? Yes, no, confused.
Yes, Akshay.
Yeah. Okay. So that is one thing which tells you that you don't need to have these hierarchies set up in data hub. There could be other point of discussion, and that is normally when we were creating a flat list and a hierarchy list, it was pretty simple to conclude the fact that the performance consumed by the system, that is performance consumed by the ANA plan, will be more in a hierarchy in comparison to a flat. Yes, no, agree, don't agree.
Come again on this one. Sorry. You're saying
The
performance will
consumption, the performance, a flat list will always have a better performance in comparison to a hierarchy list.
Yes.
it's very direct, not cluttered.
I mean, in your flat list, you don't have any relation, right? You are just, it's independent. But in your hierarchy list, it can be, if it is of multiple levels, there could be so many relations, right? And in turn, what will happen? There will be dependencies, and dependencies always create a lag. I mean, that's again a basic thumb rule of life. Okay, so that works the same in Anaplan as well. Since there will be a dependency on the parent, every time you could feel like there could be some lag associated and the performance will decrease, right?
Correct.
Now the point is, now the point is, another point is, if you can avoid a hierarchy list in a data hub, why you will, put something which will decrease or deplete the performance? If you can very well avoid that, it's always better to avoid, right? Why in the world you will want the more memory to be wasted, or you want a lag to be there? Obviously, if you can avoid, it's better to avoid.
Yeah.
Another thing, even if you think from the visibility perspective, okay, if you think from the visibility perspective, the hierarchy list, there was more data clutter, right? The data were in a cluttered fashion. I mean, if you see the hierarchy list, I mean, obviously, it's much related with the past point itself, performance and the data clutter issues. And it brings to our another point, and the fact that if we use a flat list, it will avoid unnecessarily cell and calculation. Because obviously in your hierarchy, there will be more calculations involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we just try to combine these 4 to 5 points, can you guys just try to aggregate it? I'll be back in within a couple of minutes. Just try to aggregate the discussion we had, and let me know if you have issues in understanding why to use hierarchy or why to use flat in a data hub.
Ramkrishna, are you there?
Yes.
Tell me, man, why to use flat list in the data hub, not the hierarchy list?
See.
You have gone through Data Hub, Ramakrishna, already?
Yeah.
You might have already gone through Data Hub concept, right?
No.
Oh,
Karthik, what question you were asking to me? Yesterday you were absent. Right now you
No,
are
I
asking.
am asking a simple question. Whether to use flat list or the hierarchy list in the data hub, because end user is not at all involved in this.
Then it
Simple,
is
right?
flat list
You both
is
clear.
end user is not bothered about the hierarchies. Then we can go with flat list only because we are creating some lag. If they want any relationships means you have to create that one once again.
you can just look for what is Data Hub quickly, so you'll get an idea. Data Hub is like just a central repository where all the data is
Did you
stored.
share any link related to that?
No. I think probably can just Google, you'll find Data Hub in an upline. So it's like a central repository which will have all the data first. Okay, and then you will have spoke modules, in the sense the different modules. You will, whatever modules that you create, they will fetch the data from this Data Hub instead of directly importing from a different system. So if you want employee data, if you want sales data, you have to first come to Data Hub, fetch the data, and create and design your modules.
Okay, got it.
Karthik, I was just thinking of a scenario. let's say I'm creating a module.
Okay.
A module has, let's say I'm creating a module only for Bangalore. Okay. And I want to take the employees from Bangalore only. If I have to take it, I have to go to Data Hub. I'll fetch the data. It will fetch all the employees, irrespective of the location. Right? Though I wanted only Bangalore location data. Because there is no hierarchy or parent or any relation in the Data Hub saying that this employees from so and so. It's just a flat
So I
list of
think
all employees.
you can you can first pull that employees data and you can create the subset list. I think so.
Yeah, that's what there will be a duplicate.
Yeah. I got your question that you can fetch the total employees from different locations. Yeah, that is the thing we can do. Because in the data hub, we have the employees for all the locations, right?
Yeah.
So I think we can create a subset list and we can pull that subset list into your module.
Mhm.
To correlate that, I mean, any questions, any issues in understanding what we just discussed?
Yeah, Abhishek just had one question which we were discussing. Let's say let's say I'm creating a module for which has which is only specific to Bangalore. Okay, and I wanted to fetch the employees of only Bangalore. But now since the employee list is flat list and Data Hub, so I don't want it to see other employees from other locations. But now since I have to fetch it from Data Hub, I'll have to pull all the data from the Data Hub, right? Will that not be a issue, like because I wanted to see only Bangalore employees, but I have to pull all the data and then do that hierarchy thing in my module to filter out the other employees.
Can you come again? I mean, when you say
Let's say,
module, just I mean, talk in terms of the spoke module and data module.
yeah, let's say my spoke module is only specific.
Model.
Yeah, model.
Okay.
Right? It's like I wanted only subset of the data, not the entire data. So if I have to import the data from the data hub, the spoke model will just import everything. Since there is no hierarchy or criteria to filter out.
No, you say data will spoke everything, is it?
No. See, my data hub has all the employees list, right? And the model or module that I'm creating, I think, which is only for Bangalore specific employee. I wanted to pull the data which has only location is Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, though I don't want the entire data from the data hub, if there was a hierarchy in the data hub itself, I could have filtered out and pulled whatever I need. I don't need the entire data from that particular list.
Okay.
Will that scenario come?
Understood. Makes sense. I mean, yeah, that was that's an important point to understand. See, the point which you are raising here, okay, it's not related with the fact whether it's a hierarchy list or whether it's a flat list.
Mhm.
It is more related with the point of having in filters included in data.
Okay.
So for the time being, just imagine, okay, what I'm telling, just try to think of, okay. Suppose there is a list of states in a data hub model. Let me know if you can visualize. If you can't, we'll figure out a way, okay?
Sure.
I mean, guys, it's for everyone, okay? It's an important question which Akhil has asked. That's a good question. So suppose there is a list of states in my data hub, and there are approx 100 states. And what Akhil says, he wants state only for India, maybe, okay, not for other countries. So we'll just filter out the data while we will be exporting into the spoke model. We'll make sure to filter the data which is of India states or Indian states. Now, how to put that filter? This is the concept of data hub. Okay, how to put that filter? So what you need to do is you will be creating a module in a data hub which will be dimensionalized by that list state, okay, or state list, whatever you say. Module whose dimension will be that state list which you have created in data hub, okay, and there will be a line item, couple of line items, and in that line item, once I create the module, I'll create that line item into a Boolean format. And now either I will write a formula or either you will write, I will do a manual Boolean check for all the Indian states, or I will look for a condition.
Abhishek,
Yep.
line item we missed. Which line item you created?
Let that line item be Boolean named.
Boolean name. Okay.
Okay. And under that line item, what you are doing, you are formatting that to Boolean format. And all these states which are from India will be checked there.
And we have to check it manually. If we write the formula, we
The
don't have a
formula,
source.
you can write down a condition. There could be some coding involved. Anything could be. It depends with the type of data which you'll be playing. For an example, let me tell you. Suppose the Indian states code will start from 0 or 1. It could be possibility, right? Suppose from 1 to 100, it will be Indian states. From 100 to 200, it will be states from China, or 200 to 300, it's states from Germany, something like that. You got it, what I mean,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Suppose the codes are in that fashion. Very well, you can put down the formula in that line item now. If item of code equals to 0 to 100, then true, else false, something like that. I mean, I'm just telling you, let's not get into the exact formula, but you are understanding what type of formula it could possibly be, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone, Venu,
Yes. Yes.
Karthik,
Yes,
Ramkrishna.
sir. Yes, Abhishek.
So as soon as you will write that formula, what happens? The Boolean gets checked, correct? Now, what type of condition it could be? It depends. Okay, you have to think of that condition. Probably, if you will have those live data, I'm pretty sure you will be able to think. That's not a big concern. But I'm just telling you an idealistic approach what you need to do. Okay. And once that is a Boolean checked, what we will do is we'll create a view, saved view. Saved view, I think we haven't discussed till now, right? Ever?
Ever, but we have gone through L1.
In L1, we have gone through, right?
Yeah.
So Venu, for you also, I went through saved view, right? In
Yeah.
L1?
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. So what you will do now, you will create a saved view and you will
Before
put in the
India.
filter where Boolean is checked. Are you guys connecting with what I'm saying?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. No, I mean, you guys have to do that actually now. Okay, I'll do that. Don't worry. I'll do that and show you guys. So now you will do that Boolean check and you will put a filter where Boolean is true and you will create one view. Now what this view will have?
Only India states.
Indian states. And now we will export this view to our spoke model. And as soon as I spoke this view to spoke model, only the Indian states will go, right?
Yes.
So we surpassed the fact that there were other states from other countries. And we made sure that we bought only data what we wanted. Yes, no, agree, disagree.
Yes.
Yes, Abhishek.
Akhil,
Yes. Yes.
you got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Abhishek, we can do anything in the data hub. That means we can create the modules based on the requirements what we have to pull into the spoke module. What you are saying right now, right?
Correct.
So why can't we do this one same in the spoke model? That means why can't we create as a subset in the employees list and we can go through?
Great. Good question. Yesterday, do you remember we discussed few importance of data hub and the need of data hub? So
Yeah, it will be
ultimately,
like yeah. Tell me.
I'll tell you. See, your spoke models are the precious model, right? Because
Yes.
they will be used by the end users. So when I say precious, I mean in the terms like you have to be very, very sure and certain about the performance and the consumption and the ways the formula and everything is written over there, correct?
Yeah.
So just think like a model that is your spoke model is having 100, suppose 500 different states, and a spoke model having 100 state, which one will be better?
Okay. Okay.
You got the point, right?
Yes, perfect. Yeah. Model gets perfect. Okay. Okay. Fine.
I mean, you are unnecessarily adding the extra states which you
Extra
can
state.
probably avoid. And that's what the essence of data hub is, right? You put in the garbage in data hub and you bring only the precious stuff what you require.
In the spoke module. Okay, fine.
right?
Yeah.
And maybe the garbage for your, suppose, this question was from Karthik. Okay. Maybe the garbage data for Karthik model could be some precious data for Ramakrishna model, right? But your data hub will have all the data. So from, suppose for an instance, you imported 0 to 100 data in Karthik model, and that was important. The rest 100 to 500 is a utter wastage for Karthik. Karthik doesn't want that. But maybe 200 to 300 is a precious data for Ramakrishna model, and he will just export that much data. Now, what Ramakrishna will do, he will go and create another view in that data, and he will only export what he wants from there. Provided you guys will name your saved view appropriately so that other doesn't get confused. Makes sense? Getting confused, or is it like some story going on?
No. Makes sense. Yeah.
You guys understand, right? What we are
Yes.
Yeah.
Abhishek, just one more question. Trying to understand this better. So if I got it clearly, the main reason for having hierarchy list, though there are a lot of data reasons, like you don't want to create the clutters and unnecessary cells and all that. Major reason is performance, but the way that we are doing now, creating multiple models within Data Hub to fetch the data, it would have been very easier if hierarchy list was there, right? And even creating these extra models to fetch that data, filter out the data, is again will impact the performance. So what benefit now will hierarchy list will add?
I missed Akhil.
So my point is, see, there are multiple reasons you mentioned, like cluttering, end user will anyways not see this data. These are all secondary reasons, I believe. The major reason would be the performance would improve if we have flat list, because hierarchy list is anyways not needed.
Okay.
But that for the requirement that we just discussed, right? For states, you had to create different models and add some formulas to segregate the data, filter out the data. This addition of extra models will again impact the performance. Otherwise, if we had hierarchy, it would have been very easier for the spoke models to fetch the data. So now this extra adding model will also impact the performance. So how will it benefit now?
Okay. Now, the formulas which you are putting in, I mean, that's again a basic thumb rule. The more the formulas, the worse the performance, right? I mean, just we are going with that assumption. Now, when you say the formula impacts the performance of the model, okay, which model performance get impacted? You got my question, what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Which model performance will get impacted?
Data Hub model.
Agree, Akhil?
Yeah.
So even if that gets impacted, I don't care.
Yeah.
Does it answer your question, Akhil? Or still there's an
No,
issue?
but if we create a hierarchy in Data Hub, the performance of, even in that case, performance of higher Data Hub will only impact. Right? When we are saying that hierarchy list will save the performance or will improve the performance, that is for the Data Hub only we are talking. Right?
No, I mean something which you can control and something which you can't control. There's again two different sides, right? I mean, see, try to understand the fact that there are few stuffs which are mandatory for you to do. You don't have any control. For instance, what I was talking about creating a view here. When you were creating a view in a hierarchy model, when you were creating a view in a data hub model, okay. So ultimately, if you think from the perspective of performance, I completely agree with you. Data hub performance will be impacted. And the point is, in turn, we are enhancing the performance of the spoke model here. Right? Now there is another condition which we are discussing, and that is the hierarchy model, or why I'm saying hierarchy model today. The data hub model where you are creating this hierarchy list, okay, you are impacting the performance of data hub model by creating hierarchy. Now your point is, to hell with the performance of data hub, why I even care about that, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I
the
can
key.
very well go and create hierarchy. I don't care about the performance of data hub. Then why do I need to do that? See, the point is, when I say that you don't care about the performance of data hub, I never say that, I mean, that is some, like, how to say, like that is some orphan model or something about whom you shouldn't be caring at all. This terminology is into the perspective when you compare about the performances of data hub and I spoke model. Now, if doing something, okay, if doing something in data hub decreases the performance of data hub, at the same time it increases the performance. I mean, if it is like inversely proportional in the terms of performance of data hub and a spoke model, you can very well go and play around and destroy the performance of data hub. That is fine, because in turn, since you're decreasing the performance, you're increasing the performance of a spoke. That is fine up to certain limits. Okay. In case if it is inversely proportional, and in case if it isn't at all proportional, in case if it isn't at all related in any way with the increase of performance of your spoke, then it doesn't make sense at all, right? That you keep on destroying the performance of your data hub. Ultimately, it's your model only at the end of the day. Why we were destroying the performance of data hub? We were doing that because we were getting some advantage for our spoke. And since our spoke was priority, we did this activity. But in case if creating something or if decreasing the performance of my data hub doesn't help in increasing the performance of my spoke, why will I decrease the performance of my data hub? Because ultimately, if data hub also slows down, the fetching inward and outward data will be quite late, right? It will be delayed. So ultimately, you need to take care of performance of data hub as well. But when we give this statement, this is always in comparison with the spoke. At the end of a day, you as a model builder, you as a owner of your models in Anaplan, you have to take care of everything what is there in the workspace. You got my point, Akhil, or is there any, I mean, any confusion still? I'm okay to, have this discussion. It's a good one actually.
I got your point. My only question was, like, I completely get that adding hierarchy list would impact the performance. But now to fetch the data, adding subsets or again adding some more model will negate that point.
No, so
So
whose
that
performance gets impacted? Data hub model only, right?
in both the cases, it will be data hub only, right?
No, so when you add a subset, whose performance gets increased?
If you add a hierarchy list in the data hub, whose performance will increase?
No one's.
No, but it will be easier for the data, the spoke models, right?
How?
They can just directly fetch it instead of creating that Boolean, add some formulas.
How you came up with that fact?
Now, for example, in the example that we were taking,
Let's go one by one, okay? Otherwise, they'll mess it up.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Let's take that. I wanted to pull the states of India only. Okay. Now there are two options to do it. One, either create a hierarchy in the data hub. If you create a hierarchy in the data hub, then I can easily just put a parent of whatever it is and then pull the data. Right? Agree? Is that a correct understanding?
See, as soon as you talk about pulling a data, okay, you pull only data from a data hub, okay?
Yes.
Depending upon certain conditions, whatever you write.
Yes.
Now, in the terms of performance which you talk, okay, that will only be related with the flow, that is the import export flow. That's it. It is irrespective of the fact that whether it's a hierarchy, whether there is a formula, whether there isn't a formula. Your import export flow is just an independent flow.
Okay. So just to, when we say import, probably that's why the import is a normal import, or the way we have been doing, copying the data from other module.
I'll show you. Let's create this.
My understanding or my imagination was you just add some formula to pull the data from Data Hub, and it will just import all the states from only India only from that. Not from the entire thing.
Let me show you. Okay, that will make more sense, and then we can continue with this discussion. I hope that's not boring for other guys, right?
No, Abhishek.
It's learning for you all as well. Okay, so don't
Yes,
think
yes,
it's
yes.
only Akhil questions. I mean, that's good that he's asking, that it gets clear, it helps everyone out here. Let this be fair enough. Okay. So the way we discussed, I'll create a module. Okay. I'll just name it that. And where is this? I'll just name it as Boolean. Something, whatever I want. What I'll do is I'll just go and change this format to Boolean now. And suppose I was just talking about, I'm doing this manually. Okay. I mean, maybe in real time, you can search of a condition and accordingly put in the formulas. Okay. That depends. Everyone is following, right? What we are doing now?
Yeah.
Yes.
We are just creating one view here. So this is my normal view and that is my export view. Okay. What we'll do is like, maybe we will select one model. I think there was already one which we are using, right? That wrong spelling one. PRACT. I remember that.
No, it's PRACT.
Wrong spelling is also good for me, at least to remember. Anyways, I'll just create one new state list. Okay. I have a state already. Oh, okay. I already have here. That's fine. Okay. Now, how this, when we say like, I mean, this is again, we'll discuss these all separately in a much more elaborated fashion. But at this point of discussion, how it happens, you need to click on import, connect to Anaplan model, and then you need to go to the model from where you want to pull that data. I want to pull it from saved view. I want to pull it from here. Okay. And then I select, and there's no parent, there's no code, nothing. Run import. What happens? These all have came from here, right? Can you show you? Correct.
I got it.
Okay. Now let's follow your approach.
No, I think I got it now. My understanding was because I didn't know how we are importing. I thought importing in the sense the way we were just writing formulas and fetching from lists, right? So I was thinking from Data Hub also, we'll just write some formula and fetch it. I thought if it is hierarchy, then it will be very easy. I got it. Yes.
You got the point, right?
Yes, I got that point.
So even if you write formula, I mean,
Yes.
it's restricted to this space only.
Yes. There's no point.
Yeah, and the reason, like, you got that point, right? Inversely proportional, which I was telling you, like, if you decrease here, if there increases, that is fair enough for me, right?
Yeah.
But still, when I say this statement, like, you don't say anywhere, it's for everyone, like, we don't care about the performance of data. No, it's not like that. We do care, but up to certain extent, we can ignore, but that doesn't mean you just keep on ignoring. Even Data Hub performance is very much to be taken into account, because just imagine, like, how there could be 3 or 4 different types of planning in your organization which will be using this Data Hub as a source, right? And if you do any mess out here, the entire enterprise will get impacted. You got the point, right? How important this Data Hub is also for you. Suppose if you do some mess here in practice, yes, suppose this is a supply chain model. The mess will happen only in supply chain model. Okay, only the users of this model gets impacted. If you delete by mistake some data here, or you do mess here, what happens? All your spoke model, financial, supply chain, retail, merchandise, capacity, territory, quota, whatever is there, everything will get impacted. So this is also important, but you have to be, taking a consideration of both, and you have to take a call depending upon what you want to sacrifice to get in result, accordingly. I hope that answers your questions, okay.
Yep.
All right. Any confusion to other guys? Everyone is okay, like what we had discussed just now?
Yeah, it is clear.
Okay. So just to summarize today's discussion, what we had, like mostly in Data Hub, we are going to be using the hierarchy list. Okay. Just a second. So mostly in Data Hub, we are going to be using the flat list instead of a hierarchy list. So let me share it once again. Reason being, like, hierarchy is used only to aggregate data. Okay. Hierarchy is used to aggregate data. And why you do that? Probably for some analytical purpose. And once you need for aggregating data for analytical purpose, we also know that end users don't look in Data Hub. For them, it's not at all required. At the same time, we discussed about another point that reduces clutter if you use a flat list. And in turn, if it reduces clutter, you can presume it increases the performance. These all are for Data Hub, okay? And also, if it reduces clutter, it makes easier to understand data in Data Hub. And with that said, you can avoid unnecessary cells and calculations here. Okay, so these are the few points which you can think and make a note of. I've pinged into the chat as well. Accordingly, with time, once we understand more, there could be few more popping in, but these are the few basic ones. If in interviews or anywhere it's asked, like, why you shouldn't be having hierarchies in Data Hub, you can very well answer that. And not only for interviews, but even in your real time when you are creating something in Data Hub, make it a practice that you are creating only a flat list. There is no hierarchy list created in Data Hub. I mean, that's a basic thumb rule. But again, when I say something is a rule, that doesn't mean that rule will always be followed in 100% cases. In very, very few instances, there are some reason why you may need to have a hierarchy as well in a data hub. But that's a very, very rare scenario. Okay, let's at this point of time, you can very well go with an assumption, go with a conclusion rather, like in your data hub, you will always have a flat list. But in case if in future, if you see somewhere a hierarchy data hub, then don't think that, whatever I taught you in these sessions were wrong.
What could be those scenarios?
I mean, that will become very, again, I mean, for that, it will become very difficult to, cover that portion here.
Any simple example? Like I was thinking, if the data fetches data from different sources, like for example, my company gets the data from different vendors. So different vendor system might send the data to me. So in that case, can the data hub segregate it in a hierarchy? From this vendor, this is the data I got.
Yeah, I mean,
valid.
Why you want? I mean, if it comes from different systems, okay. So what's the problem? Even if it comes from different system, your data will store every data. What's the issue there?
Yeah, but I might not need. If I create spoke modules, maybe a particular vendor only. Again, putting the formulas and stuff that.
You already have a flat list only, right? What's the problem then?
Okay.
No, not satisfied.
No, I'm just thinking in
what
what
vendor
could be.
ABC this data.
Yeah, I was just thinking in what scenarios could be where we end up adding hierarchy.
That's what I'm telling. Don't get confused. I mean, I didn't wanted to say this statement, but I just thought of telling you guys. But please, you guys don't think about this point. Just, I mean, ignore whatever I said for last 60 seconds. You will get very confused with all this. You just stick with the basic thumb rule. You will not need a hierarchy in data. Okay. I can tell you one example, but just forget that example. Okay. See, even what happens like in your data hub as well, at times you are creating some sort of relation. Okay. Some sort of relation, what you want to push into the spoke model. So at times it becomes a little bottleneck if you use a flat list. I mean, that's again a very rare scenario. A possibility could be again like if there's an someone like who manages the data from the client legacy systems. Okay, and he's very keen to see whatever is coming into data hub as well, some reports. And if he comes and tell you like, hey, I want to see always in hierarchy only in my dashboard. See, again, we are violating 2 points here. Okay, the first one is end user don't look into data. Yeah. But what I'm telling, there could be person, right? I mean, I can, I'm telling you all with this, with some real-time experiences coming up with different folks. What happens? The someone who is working as a master data management or something, like his responsibility is to just see and observe whether the data coming from legacy is all correct or not. So he's a business person only. He will do all this activity as well. So, and he tells you like, hey, give me a view from data hub which is in hierarchy. I mean, if you have people like that, you can't do anything rather than creating a hierarchy in data hub. Though you will tell him like, you are destroying the sanity, you shouldn't do this. But since he's a business, since he's a client, if he tells you, you have to do that. You get the point, right?
Yeah.
But again, these are very rare scenarios. I mean, even at times when we propose client like, let's not do this, this will destroy the sanity. People agree. That's not a problem. But again, you never know. There will be different varieties of breeds of people which you meet, right? So that depends. You got it, right? What I mean.
Good.
Mm-hmm. So that is all. But at this point of time, let's not confuse our mind. Okay, if we will confuse, we'll end up doing a mess. Let's think it in a way like 99.9%. We will always use a flat list in our data. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right then, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. Probably we will meet tomorrow.
Yeah, Abhishek. Hello.
Ramakrishna, you said anything?
Yes, yes. One small request from my side. Can we start the session early, like 8:30? Because at 10 o'clock I have to go to office. That's all.
I can end up at 10 exact if you want.
No, I should be in 10 o'clock in office.
How you will go today?
1 or 2 days I can exam, but every day it is not possible, you know.
Okay.
Uh,
That's fine. We'll have it 8:30 then. Others, okay, right?
Yes, it's fine.
I'm okay.
Everyone wants SAS. Surya, it's SAS better. You guys are having a good temperature in Karnataka.
no, in Bangalore it is like 12, 15 like that.
Oh, if it increased there as well. Decreased there as well.
Decrease.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
ठीक है.
Hyderabad, we have 6 or 7.
Okay. Okay, guys. So in that case, like if it poses a serious problem from Ramakrishna, we'll have the sessions at 8:30. Okay, but please don't come again tomorrow and tell it. Let's have at 8. Okay, I'll die. I'm already not well. Okay, we'll start at 8:30 from tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, guys, for your time. Bye bye. Take
Thank you. Bye bye.